in this video, let's talk about getting started as a mobile dental hygienist in Canada. So I've been a mobile dental hygienist in both Ontario and Manitoba, so this is more Canadian-wide, but the nice thing is I can give you experience and help on both of those provinces, and then you can, of course, cross-check and reference your own. But basically what you need is to be an active dental hygienist. So of course you need to be paying your yearly licensing fees to be an active dental hygienist, okay? And then you do need to be a part of the CDHA, the Canadian Dental Hygienists Association. You do need to be a part of them because they are going to give you what's called an IPN membership to allow you to submit claims. Unless you Well, no, you need this anyway. I was about to say, unless you're just going to do paper claims and not have a dental hygiene software, but sorry, scratch that. It doesn't matter. Every independent dental hygienist needs that IPN if you're practicing in Canada. So if you're overwhelmed already, okay, the simple thing to do is just ask your dental hygiene association. If I was in Manitoba, I would be emailing the College of Manitoba Dental Hygienist, and I would just simply say, what do I need to become a mobile dental hygienist? If you want to keep it simple, but I'm kind of helping you with that too. Just make sure you are an active dental hygienist, you are paying your yearly licensing fees, and then make sure you are also a part of the CDHA. So that's another yearly membership fee. And then the next part is a little bit different depending on what province you are a part of. In Ontario, they have recently passed something where any active dental hygienist can be a mobile dental hygienist, whereas before you would have to pay another fee, so a third one now, to be an independent dental hygienist. This is what we called ourselves, an independent dental hygienist. In Manitoba, now I moved from Ontario to Manitoba, so I had that independent dental hygiene fee paid for already. I'm also a restorative dental hygienist, so that gives me a specialty certificate. So in Manitoba, I didn't need to do anything extra because I had all of that already. So what I suggest doing, as I mentioned before, I kind of sound like a broken record. I promise I'll stop that, but double check with your province, your specific province dental hygiene association. Review one last time. You definitely need to be an active dental hygienist, easy, and then you absolutely need to be a part of the CDHA. Do all that first, and then we will move on to the next one. If any questions, just simply email your dental hygiene association in your province, okay? I'm going to check my notes because I didn't want to forget anything here. So it's that simple for starters. The next thing you need to do is determine, well, how much money are you going to spend? So to be a mobile dental hygienist, you're making house calls. You're going to either patients' homes, you are going to nursing homes, you are going to offices. How much is that going to cost to get the equipment you need? In another video, I do have a checklist where I go over the basic equipment you need, such as you're going to need a portable patient chair. You're going to need a portable compressor unit with the air, the water, the suction. You're going to need supplies such as masks, bibs. Are you going to get a Cavitron or a piezo? Are you going to get a dental hygiene software? So don't worry, I talk about that a little bit more in another video. I will link that down below, but I do also have a full course, the Mobile RDH Academy, where I go through all of this anyway if you're getting overwhelmed already. But you do need to think about that. So when I first started my mobile dental hygiene practice in 2018, I took out a $30,000 business loan. That's what I needed to get started. I didn't have $30,000. I needed to create a business plan, go to the bank and get a business loan. So that's your next step, is to determine, do you have the money to start your own mobile dental hygiene practice? You might need to price out certain products to really determine if you have the money. I've known dental hygienists who took out a $30,000 loan. I know other dental hygienists who took out a $50,000 loan, and then others say they only needed $10,000. So I think it just really depends on what you want to get started. But if you think about it, think about yourself working in a dental office. What do you need for every patient appointment? And do you have that? Again, such as masks, bibs, a patient tray, instruments. You need something to collect the payment. Do you have that? So all of these things you need to think about. So following along with all of that, you need to get a business plan. To write one, honestly, it's different for everybody. Just look up business plan templates online. You will find one. I would love to give you my business plan, but I didn't really have one because surprisingly, my bank didn't ask for one because they said I was taking out a very low loan amount and I didn't have any debt. So my case might be different than say somebody who still has $70,000 debt from school. If you took another program where you have debt in, maybe you own 3 cars and you're in debt from that. Maybe you have credit card debt. So all of these things depend on your situation. So talk to the bank. Talk to the bank and say, what do I need to get a business loan? This is what I'm doing, and they will let you know. So I can't really tell you that because it is dependent on every situation, but talk to the bank. So remember, number 1 was just basically being an active dental hygienist, paying your yearly fees, and then being a part of the CDHA network. That's another membership fee. If there's any questions, then you want to talk to your province's dental hygiene association. And then the second one is, do you have the money? If not, then just talk to your bank and ask them, how do I get a business loan? I'm starting a business as a mobile dental hygienist. So let me look at my notes again. So then this kind of goes into looking into your area's legal and regulatory compliance. So what do you need to do to be a mobile dental hygienist? And then you also need to think about, are you going to sterilize your instruments? Well, of course you are. The only way you're not going to do that is if you're going to work with a dental office and use all of their sterilization equipment and supplies. This doesn't usually happen, but I have heard of it happening, so that's why I'm mentioning it in this video. But I didn't do that when I first started. Well, I'm not doing it now, but I didn't do that in 2018 when I was starting my own practice. I had to look up all of these things myself. So I purchased a sterilizer. I made sure my home was compliant for seeing patients because I was seeing patients in my own home as well. I needed to know, where can I set up my sterilizer to make it compliant for handling dirty instruments, clean instruments, all of that. How does that work? So that is dependent on your province again. So I suggest emailing your province's Dental Hygiene Association and saying, what do I need to make sure I'm compliant? Again, I can't help you with that because it is slightly different depending on every province, and there are a lot of provinces. It would take me a lot of time to figure that out for every single person, when that is something I do feel anyway you should look up on your own, because it really depends. Do you live in an apartment? Do you share a house? Do you have room to set up a sterilizer in your own home, or do you maybe need to do it somewhere else? Or there's many different things. So just make sure to look into it, but make sure you are compliant. As an example, the main thing that I needed to make sure of was that my sterilizer has its own space and a certain distance from everything else. As an example, I keep my sterilizer in my finished basement. I'm not allowed to have my sterilizer in, say, an unfinished basement where there's dust, there's like extra dust, there's all kinds of things. They said you just simply cannot do that. So you need to have your sterilizer in a finished basement with proper ventilation control. It does need to be a certain distance from a sink because you're going to need to wash your hands. You need to have an eye wash station. And just basically, you guys, it has to be clean, and you have to have a certain setup for the clean instruments and dirty instruments. But honestly, that's it. Think of when you sterilized in a dental office. Like, just kind of think about it that way. But then obviously at your home, it's going to be on a smaller scale. For example, I couldn't have my sterilizer right beside me and then have like the clean and dirty instruments set up here. There has to be clear separation. There has to be enough room. When in doubt, what I suggest doing, again, is contacting your province's Dental Hygiene Association, and you can even ask, can somebody come to have an on-site audit for my sterilization area to make sure I'm compliant? I didn't do this, but you could do this if you're really, really worried about it. But I want to tell people, just use common sense. Don't be worried about it and just do it, because I find that's where a lot of dental hygienists get stuck, is they go, I don't want to make a mistake, I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm just not going to do it. My dream of becoming a mobile dental hygienist just won't happen. Well, that's just silly. Okay, that's just silly. Just do it. Just do it. And then if you have questions, of course, ask for help. We all have an IPAC guidance checklist, IPAC checklist. Feel free to go through that. If you don't know where yours is, email your dental hygiene province, your association, and they will send that to you. My checklist is like a million pages long. It's very confusing, but I have it if I quickly need to look something up, okay? So that's another thing. And then you need proper insurance requirements. So do you have enough insurance through your dental hygiene association? I always sign up through the CDHA, the extra insurance package, so I am covered. I have liability insurance, I am covered. You can also go separate and get separate insurance by calling your home insurance provider and say, I do have a mobile dental hygiene practice. If you see patients in your own home, say I have a room in my house where I have dental hygiene equipment. And then if you go out to clients' homes as well, say I go out to clients' homes as well, it's all in my car. That might be more your auto insurance package, so you could do that too. It's been a while since I've signed up for these things, so I don't remember exactly, but when in doubt, you guys, just ask. And if they say, we can't help you, call your auto insurance, then call your auto insurance and ask these questions. It's specific, it's different for everybody. It's different for every province on what you need. If you want to take it a step further, you could contact a lawyer, but I didn't bother doing that. I just sort of signed up for what I needed to, and then I went from there. So there are different insurance packages as with anything. If you want all of your mobile equipment covered, then that would be a certain package. If you're worried about a fire and then you want it all replaced in the event of a fire, well, that's a different package. If you're just okay to cut your losses, then, that's a different package. But let's say theft, let's say they got stolen and you want it all replaced, or maybe only half of it. All of these things you have to think about. Okay, I know it sounds like a lot, but don't worry, I'm here to help if you guys have questions. So those are kind of the hard stuff that you have to think about first, but don't get overwhelmed. Do it step by step, kind of like a to-do list. There are so many mobile dental hygienists out there. We've all done it. We know it's hard, but we've all done it. So if we can do it, you can do it too. And then there's other things to think about, such as how are you going to market your mobile dental hygiene practice? How are you going to set up and book appointments? How are you going to process payments? How are you going to get the word out that you're a mobile dental hygienist? So those are other things to think about. And I talk about all of that in another video. I can link those down below. But I hope this helped to at least get you started. I'm not meant to I don't mean to overwhelm anybody is what I'm trying to say. But there are certain steps to do. But what I find a lot of dental hygienists do is they ask a million questions, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with asking a million questions. But ask your province's dental hygiene association these things first, because I don't want to give somebody false information. And asking other dental hygienists is great, but in the long run, it's your license on the line and not theirs. So you want to make sure you're compliant. Feel free to ask them questions. As an example, I have recently moved to Manitoba. I'm in Winnipeg, and there aren't any mobile dental hygienists. I mean, if there are, I don't know who they are. There might be a couple like scattered throughout, but anytime I would ask questions, there wasn't another dental hygienist to help me specifically for Winnipeg because there just aren't any here. And I would contact our province's dental hygiene association, and they would just give me links to these pages that aren't geared towards mobile dental hygiene. So I was kind of confused, but they're actually really working on it now. So there are now documents specific to a mobile dental hygienist, which is so helpful. But sometimes you just have to do it because there might not be enough documentation out there, and they can't really help you. They just want you to use common sense, So such as if you're asking them how to set up a sterilizer in your own home, they might say, well, look at the IPAC guidelines for a dental office. Like, how would you set it up for a dental office? You would not, for example, have a sterilizer in the same operatory. It has to be a different room. Like, it has to be away from other people. That kind of thing. Okay. Sorry. I feel like this is an overwhelming video for you, but this will at least get you started. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. I do update videos often and I talk about a lot of different dental stuff. If you really want to dive in and get started with some step-by-steps, I highly recommend the Mobile RDH Academy because I go through all of these again with you step by step on how to get started with your mobile dental hygiene practice here in Canada. And I really like the experience that I can offer too because I've moved provinces where it's a little bit different. And I've done both where I've seen clients in my own home, but I've also seen clients out in nursing homes. I've seen clients going to their own home. I've seen clients in offices. So I can really offer advice on that. Plus, whether this goes without saying or not, but you should know I have a very successful mobile dental hygiene practice. So I'm not just telling you things and I'm actually not seeing patients because I'm not very good at it, but it's because I have a successful practice. It's amazing to be able to work part-time and make a full-time income and not have to work for somebody else. So I'm really passionate about talking to other dental hygienists on if you want to start your own mobile practice. I love to help you get started. So my name's Andrea Turowski. I don't think I mentioned that yet. If you've been following me on YouTube for a while, you probably know that by now, but it's nice to meet you guys. Follow along and feel free to email me anytime or feel free to go to my website at www.dentalelle.com where you can sign up for the Mobile RDH Academy if you're interested. Thank you guys for watching and I'll see you in the next one.